You think you know Caitlin Clark, but you don't. The story that unfolded on a quiet golf course wasn't just a sports crossover. It was a cultural explosion. A basketball superstar walked into Tiger Woods' world, and by the time she left, nothing in golf or women's sports would ever be the same again. Cameras didn't just capture swings that day. They caught history in motion. A crowd expecting a celebrity cameo instead witnessed domination. Because when Caitlin Clark picked up a driver, she didn't just hit a ball. She hit the reset button on what it means to be an athlete. It all started innocently enough. The RSM Classic ProAm wasn't supposed to make headlines. It was meant to be a light-hearted exhibition, a chance for professionals and a few famous guests to have fun under the Georgia sun. But the second Caitlin Clark's name appeared on the lineup, the entire atmosphere changed. Suddenly, ticket sales exploded overnight. Seats that had been ignored for weeks vanished in hours. Fans weren't coming for Tiger Woods, or even the LPGA elites. They were coming for her, the woman who'd already turned the WNBA upside down. By the time dawn broke, the golf course looked nothing like its usual quiet self. Thousands of people lined up in basketball jerseys, holding signs that read Clark Nation, and from downtown to down the fairway, it was surreal. The tournament organizers, stunned by the turnout, scrambled to add more security, more media access, even new bleachers. What was once an event barely televised was now being broadcast live across multiple networks. It didn't matter that this was supposed to be casual. Caitlin Clark had just turned golf into primetime entertainment. Even Tiger Woods couldn't hide his curiosity. He stood by the range, watching her warm up, a subtle grin forming as she adjusted her stance. Reporters whispered, "Can she even swing?" But Tiger's focus said something else. He'd seen champions across generations, but there was something about Caitlin's calm that felt different. The way she gripped the club, the way she scanned the horizon. It wasn't nerves. It was control. The world's best golfer was about to witness something he didn't even know was possible. And then it happened. The moment the announcer introduced her name, the entire course went silent. From the University of Iowa, now representing the Indiana Fever, Caitlin Clark. She smiled, stepped up to the tee, and took a single breath. The swing that followed was poetry in motion, clean, fierce, and impossibly smooth. The sound cracked through the air like lightning. The ball soared 270 yards dead center. The crowd erupted. Tiger Woods looked up, eyes wide, whispering, "That's the best first swing I've ever seen from a non-pro." History had just been made, and it was only the beginning. Within minutes, the internet caught fire. ESPN pushed breaking news alerts. Steph Curry tweeted, "Caitlin Clark might be better than me at this point." That one tweet ignited a global storm. Hashtags like hashtag Caitlin Clark Golf and hashtag Clark Effect dominated every platform. Fans were in disbelief. How could someone who had never played professionally just walk into golf and outperform elite athletes? Golf Digest called her the most natural crossover athlete since Michael Jordan. Even skeptics had to admit, Caitlin Clark didn't just fit in. She redefined what fitting in looked like. But here's what most people don't realize. Caitlin didn't come to win. She came to relax. Reporters revealed later that she had told friends she just wanted to try something new and have fun. That's the part that made jaws drop. Her version of fun ended up rewriting the record books. She made the impossible look effortless, the extraordinary feel normal. And that's why fans can't get enough. Caitlin doesn't chase greatness. Greatness chases her. It's not ego, it's inevitability. Every time she steps onto a stage, no matter the sport, it bends to her will. The LPGA knew exactly what they were doing. Unlike the WNBA, which has stumbled in promoting her stardom, golf's biggest organizers embraced the Clark phenomenon with open arms. They didn't hide her. They spotlighted her. They paired her with Nelly Korda, the #1 golfer in the world, and sold the matchup as the crossover of the century. Basketball meets birdies. The gamble worked. Ratings skyrocketed. The LPGA's social media blew up overnight, and sponsors lined up to get their logos anywhere near Caitlin Clark's name. Then came the shot that changed everything. Hole 7, a par for that even the pros dreaded. Caitlin lined up calm and fearless. The commentators whispered, "She'll play it safe." They were wrong. She swung hard. The ball launched high, curved perfectly, and landed on a green, rolling to a stop just inches from the cup. The crowd gasped. Phones flew in the air. Tiger Woods stood up and clapped. It wasn't just a great shot. It was a moment of transcendence. A basketball icon had just outperformed professional golfers at their own game. By the end of the round, Caitlin Clark finished 13 under par, breaking the ProAm record. Let that sink in. A player whose day job involves shooting threes had just shattered records in a sport she barely trained for. Tiger Woods called it the cleanest, most confident swing I've ever seen from someone outside professional golf. And when Tiger says something like that, the world listens. You could feel the shift in the air. Caitlin had just expanded the definition of generational athlete. This wasn't hype. This was history unfolding in real time. But while the golf world exploded in admiration, another corner of sports stayed eerily silent. The same WNBA stars who had spent months criticizing Caitlin's media coverage suddenly had nothing to say. No congratulations. No acknowledgement. Nothing. Fans noticed immediately. Comment sections filled with sarcastic jabs. Funny how they had time to throw shade, but not to say congrats. The silence spoke louder than words. Jealousy? Pride? Maybe both. Either way, it painted a brutal contrast between how two leagues treated the same woman. Meanwhile, the LPGA couldn't stop praising her. Nelly Korda walked straight up to Caitlin and said, "You belong here." Maria Fassi told reporters, "She brings energy we've been missing." That kind of endorsement meant everything. These weren't rivals. They were teammates, equals, women celebrating one another. In golf, Caitlin was welcomed. In basketball, she was often treated as a threat. The difference was night and day, and fans noticed that too. For once, Caitlin wasn't walking into tension. She was walking into a family that respected her power. The business side hit next, and it hit hard. As soon as Caitlin's name appeared on the player list, the event's ticket demand spiked 1,200%. Sponsors flooded the organizers with calls. Golf brands, apparel companies, even tech firms wanted her on their ads. Within a week, she reportedly signed multiple new sponsorships. One with a golf apparel company, another with a sportswear giant, and one with a streaming platform documenting her training. One weekend of golf turned into millions in endorsements. She made more money swinging a driver once than some WNBA players make in years. And that's where the tension grew. The WNBA, a league struggling to gain mainstream traction, suddenly looked outplayed by the LPGA's marketing brilliance. Fans called out online, "The LPGA knows how to celebrate greatness. The WNBA tries to hide it." It was a harsh truth, and it stung. Caitlin didn't ask for comparison, but her success forced it. The LPGA celebrated her talent. The WNBA tried to contain it. And in doing so, they might have just lost the narrative for good. As for Caitlin, she handled it all with grace. When asked about the silence from her WNBA peers, she just smiled and said, "I'm focused on what makes me happy, competing, no matter what sport it is." No drama, no bitterness, just quiet confidence. That's what makes her dangerous. She doesn't need validation to dominate. She just shows up, performs, and lets the results speak. And when you're that consistent, that unstoppable, you stop being just an athlete. You become a phenomenon. Her parents were there too, watching from the sidelines. Her mom told reporters, "Every time she picks up something new, she gives her heart to it." Her dad laughed and said, "We stopped being surprised a long time ago." That's the Clark legacy, unshakable belief and work ethic wrapped in humility. The world might still be catching up, but her family, they've seen this movie before. Different sport, same ending. Caitlin walks in, breaks records, smiles, and walks out like it's just another day. But the story didn't end with the scorecard. After the event, Caitlin stayed on the course signing autographs, taking selfies, and giving kids impromptu golf tips. Fans couldn't get enough. Reporters crowded around, asking how it felt to break a record on her first try. Caitlin laughed. "I didn't even know what the record was." That line went viral. Effortless greatness. No ego. No overreaction. Just a reminder that for her, the extraordinary has become ordinary. Overnight, merchandise sales skyrocketed. The ProAm organizers revealed that Caitlin's appearance generated more revenue than their last 3 tournaments combined. Sponsors were begging to extend partnerships. One executive even admitted, Caitlin Clark made golf cool again. And maybe he was right. People who never cared about women's golf before were suddenly tuning in. One fan commented, "If Caitlin's playing, I'm watching." Another wrote, "She makes competition fun again." That's the Clark effect in full motion, turning skepticism into obsession. But online, the comparisons got uglier. Fans began posting side-by-side screenshots. LPGA posts celebrating Caitlin versus WNBA, players posting unrelated brand deals or TikTok dances. Comment sections got ruthless. One league promotes talent, the other promotes drama. The internet can be cruel, but it wasn't wrong. The difference in energy was obvious. The LPGA saw a star and elevated her. The WNBA saw the same star and hesitated. And in that hesitation, they lost momentum they may never get back. Meanwhile, Tiger Woods wasn't done talking. The next day, when asked about Caitlin's performance, he smiled and said, "She reminded me of when I first broke through, confidence, precision, and no fear." Coming from Tiger, that's monumental. A few hours later, photos leaked of him and Caitlin in private conversation near the clubhouse. Insiders whispered that Tiger offered her a personal training session, something he rarely does. If that's true, Caitlin Clark had just been welcomed into golf's inner circle. She wasn't visiting anymore. She was being invited to stay. Then came the endorsements, bigger than anyone expected. Within 48 hours, she'd inked deals with a golf apparel giant, a luxury watch brand, and a beverage company launching a focused campaign around her image. Combined value? Over $15 million. Let that sink in. 1 weekend of golf earned her more than most WNBA veterans make in an entire career. Sports analysts called it the Clark effect. Every league wanted her. Every sponsor wanted her. Every fan wanted more. Athletes started reacting too. Patrick Mahomes tweeted, "She's a monster." LeBron James reposted a clip of her hole-in-one attempt with the caption, "This girl different." But not everyone joined the celebration. Aya Wilson, Angel Reese, silence. Fans filled their comments asking, "Why can't you just congratulate her?" Some blamed jealousy, others pride. But the truth was simpler. Caitlin had outgrown their criticism. She didn't need their applause. She had the crowd, the headlines, the entire golf community. The silence only made her shine brighter. And speaking of crowds, they weren't just fans anymore. They were followers. People traveled across states just to watch her play. Organizers said attendance records were shattered. Even Golf Network saw massive spikes in viewership. The broadcast of Caitlin's ProAm appearance pulled higher numbers than some LPGA finals. Think about that. One basketball player outdrew an entire championship event. That's not luck, that's influence. The kind that can reshape an entire sport's future overnight. And yet, through all the fame and chaos, Caitlin stayed grounded. No arrogance, no pretense, just gratitude. When asked if she'd ever consider joining the LPGA full-time, she smirked and said, "Let's just say I'm keeping my options open." That one line sent shockwaves through both leagues. If she ever switched, the LPGA would explode in popularity. Even Tiger agreed, saying, if Caitlin took golf seriously, the sport would never be the same. For once, the GOAT and the prodigy were in perfect agreement. Now, whispers inside the LPGA suggest they're planning collaborations, celebrity tournaments, charity events, even youth clinics led by Caitlin herself. Because when she's involved, everything sells. She doesn't just bring attention, she brings credibility. Kids look up to her. Sponsors trust her. Fans believe in her. She's not trying to be the face of women's sports. She just is. Every shot she takes, every word she says, adds to a legacy no one else can touch. That's what makes Caitlin Clark so special. She doesn't just win. She transforms everything she touches. She doesn't chase moments. Moments chase her. Whether it's basketball, golf, or something else entirely. Her story keeps reminding us that real greatness doesn't need validation. It commands it. She doesn't demand the spotlight. It follows her. And now, after one unforgettable weekend, the question isn't if Caitlin Clark will change sports again. The question is how soon she'll do it next.